All right, this is just a quick overview of Google Scholar, the first of two online lectures. So I'm going to start just with the basic Google page, and if I type, this is going to shock you, but Google Scholar, I can go to that page and I can get started. There's a plugin that makes it a little easier. I'll show you in a minute. But one of the things I want you to do before you get started is you want to link Google Scholar to the Winthrop library system. So the way you can do that is to, within Google Scholar, go to Settings, and then go to Library Links, and then you would search for Winthrop University and select that. I've already done that here, but you want to get so that that shows up. Save that, and then I'll show you, but when you do search, this is one I've done recently, it'll link to the Winthrop Library and give you a way to access these journals. Okay, so if you want to do just a basic search in Google Scholar, you type in your terms that you think are in the title or the abstract or whatnot, and you'll get relevant stuff. This is an article that I had read recently. I'm working on a paper, so I thought about it and I want to read it again. So I have a number of different ways to go here. So one thing I can do is click on the journal page, and this shows me the article in the context of the journal that's published by a journaler, a journal publisher, and this is an academic an academic website that is from a recognized academic journal. Okay, and it gives me some other articles here that I can look at that it thinks might be relevant, that the journal authors or the journal editors think might be relevant. But oftentimes what's easier to do is just click on the PDF over here itself, and you can just see the article and read whatever you want in it. Okay, so that's the basic search function. Now I'm going to talk next about saving it to Zotero. So if I've done a Google Scholar search, I can come up here to this little icon that's a plugin that you get for your browser. If I click on that, it's going to give me options to grab all of these references and pull this information into Zotero. Some of them will have PDFs attached, some will not. So that's fast, but I suggest, if you can, be a little more selective. Go to either the journal itself or the PDF and save it to Zotero that way, because it's likely to give you just slightly more accurate information. Let me show you those two things. So if I go to the journal, here it's showing up here, and I can click on that and it'll give me an option to save to the library, and I can also add a tag. So for the paper I'm working on, I'm going to type in the abbreviation I'm using for that paper and it'll tag that, and then if I go to Zotero, it'll show that up here. Now there's a bunch of copies of this because I've been practicing this video, but typically you would just have that one and it grabbed the PDF as well. Okay, so that's from the journal page. You can also actually, I don't have this here in my little outline, oops, but you can save it from the PDF itself. So up here you see how it has a little PDF icon now for saving to Zotero. If I click that, it'll save it. Now I don't have the option of giving it tags from here for whatever reason, but if you go to Zotero, you can see that I have two of them now because I saved it in two different ways. Okay. So those are the ways of capturing the PDF. And just to be clear, again, you can capture it either from the Google page itself, Google Scholar, from the journal when I click on that, or from the PDF itself. The last thing I want to talk about in this little video are the elements here of these different Google listings. Okay, so one thing it's telling you is cited by. This is really helpful in that it lets you look forward in time from 2018 or whenever this was published, and it shows you who is citing this. So these are all different journal publications that have gone back and cited the original paper that I was looking at, that focal paper. You can also say, like, you're interested in just those that are really going to talk about the evolutionary aspects of it. I can search for evolutionary, and it's just going to show me the ones that have something to do with evolution in the description. So you can kind of narrow it down in terms of what you're interested in. But that's a really helpful tool. I use that all the time. Okay. All right. So we're cruising along here. The related items, or related articles, I can click on that, and it'll, using the Google Magic, pull up stuff that it may cite this, or it just may be stuff that is relevant to the same content, but that's another tool you have. Also, if you are looking at something that, say, doesn't have a PDF here, sometimes when you click on the other versions of the listing, you will get other representations of it. So you can see here, there's a bunch of different listings that show up in different ways, but just sometimes if you can't find exactly what you want, especially in terms of the PDF, try these other versions and see what they show you. Okay. And then last but not least, there is the author. If the author is underlined, that means that that author has a Google profile page. And so this guy, he's a big researcher in ideology stuff. He has, you can tell he's done some work on it. He's got a picture of himself. Kind of looks like an Ewok in this picture. But it shows his, this is kind of where certain academics kind of strut their stuff, and they want to show you just how many people have cited their work. So this is a landmark study, this political conservatism as motivated social cognition, back in 2003. Sorry, I thought it was older. But you can see how many people have cited it and what year it's published in. So here you can kind of quickly see, this is sorted by cites, by how many citations it has, like what other people have found most valuable about this guy's work, right? But you can also click here on the year, and then you can see if they've done more recent work on the thing that you might be interested in. So, you know, authors that have published one paper on something you're interested in oftentimes have published on something else. And so if you can go here, you can see what he's most recently done. As you can see, he's at a research university and he's a workaholic. So the guy turns out a lot of publications. All right, there's some other fun stuff here, but those are the most valuable things. You can follow people within Google Scholar, and you can also, if you've done a certain search and you want to keep up on that search on that topic, you can create an alert, and you'll get emails about that. I recommend being a little judicious about that, because you can quickly end up with a overflowing inbox if you're keeping track of stuff that's showing up on Google. Okay, so that's a quick and dirty introduction to Google Scholar. We'll talk in the next lecture kind of about some different search strategies using some of these different components here to find articles that you want to find. Okay, thank you.